On April 12th, 1980, Terry Fox, a one-legged long-distance runner out of Canada, began his Marathon of Hope, attempting to run from the east coast of Canada all the way to the west coast, all to raise money for cancer research. Here's the story. I'm Terry Fox. On today's Daily Sports History. Welcome to Daily Sports History. I'm Ethan Reese, your guide to a rapid deep dive into sports history every day. Now, Terry Fox was born in Canada in 1958, and growing up, he was always competitive, loved playing sports. He attempted to join the basketball team while in school, but the coach suggested because he was a shorter guy, maybe he should try cross country, which he did, in order to impress the coach to maybe make the basketball team as well. He continued to improve his basketball skills to eventually make the team. And after his grade 12 year, he won the high school's Athlete of the Year. And then later, with some pressure from his mother, enrolled in Simon Fraser University and even was able to become a member of the junior varsity team. But unfortunately, on November 12th, 1976, Fox was driving home and got distracted by some construction on the road and crashed into the back of a truck, injuring his right knee. But his love of sports, he wanted to continue playing basketball despite the pain he was feeling, and was able to make it through to the end of that basketball season. But by March 1977, the pain was too intense. He had to go see a doctor when they discovered that he had osteosarcoma, which is a cancerous tumor in the bone that started near his knee. They told him they would need to amputate his leg and give him chemotherapy to help prevent the spread of cancer. They gave him a 50% survival rate, but they told him that just a few years earlier, it was only a 15% survival rate, just showing the value of the cancer research. And with the help of an artificial leg, 3 weeks after the amputation, Terry was already walking again. With a positive outlook, he did not want to just sit around and mope. He wanted to keep moving. And that summer in 1977, he was actually invited to try out for the wheelchair basketball team and made the national team after just playing the sport for 2 months. He won 3 national titles with the team and was named an All-Star in 1980. Now, around this time, he had actually heard about a runner named Through, who became the very first person in 1976 to complete the New York Marathon using a prosthetic leg. And this inspired Terry, and he wanted to do something similar. So after 14 months of training, he was able to complete a marathon himself. But this was just the beginning. He had a plan that he wanted to run across the entire length of Canada to increase cancer awareness. So he actually sent a letter to the Canadian Cancer Society, asking to help support him in conquering this feat. Now, the Cancer Society was actually very skeptical of the success he would have, but they offered to help as long as Fox was able to acquire sponsors and get a medical certificate. So now it was time for him to find some sponsors. He sent letters and made phone calls to all different kinds of vehicle and running shoe companies to help cover the costs of running across the country, and asking for grants to help for a new running leg. But he made a condition. He would not accept anything or endorse any product and refused anyone to profit from his run. And despite these conditions, the Ford Motor Company donated a camper van, Imperial Oil donated fuel, and Adidas donated running shoes. And now came the big beginning to the run. On April 12, 1980, Fox dipped his right leg into the Atlantic Ocean, filling 2 large bottles with ocean water. He intended to keep one as a souvenir and pour the other one into the Atlantic Ocean after completing it. So starting in St. John's, Newfoundland, his goal was to go all the way across to Victoria, British Columbia. Now, this got some local news involved, but it wasn't a big moment. And it was a very hard first few days of running as there was rain constantly. But when he got to Channel Port Newfoundland, the town of about 10,000 residents, they had donated $10,000 when he arrived. And already dealing with challenges and just not getting enough news coverage, Fox was getting frustrated. But Fox continued running about 26 miles a day. And he arrived in Montreal about one-third of his journey and collected about $200,000 in donations. At this point, he had actually caught the attention of Izzy Sharp, the CEO of the Four Seasons Hotel and Resort, who had lost a son to melanoma in 1978. And Sharp gave food and accommodation to Terry and his team throughout the trip, and also pledged $2 a mile, persuading 1,000 other corporations to do the same. And this really gained the popularity of Terry's run. And at this point, now the Cancer Society was asking him to make stops at certain locations, which was going to add running time to his trip. But Fox agreed because he thought as long as it was bringing in money for cancer research, it would be worth it. So when he arrived in Ottawa, he got to meet the Governor General and the Prime Minister, and even got to kick the ceremonial kickoff for a Canadian Football League game, getting a standing ovation from all the fans. He was also able to throw out the first pitch at a Toronto Blue Jays game, And that one day alone, they were able to collect an estimated $100,000. And Bobby Orr, a Hockey Hall of Famer, presented him with a check of $25,000. This one day grew the popularity of Terry's journey more than anything else, and became national news where everyone wanted to check in on how Terry was doing. But the physical demands of running a marathon every day was starting to take its toll on Fox's body. After taking some rest days, he continued running despite having shin splints, an inflamed knee, and he developed cysts on his stump, as well as having dizzy spells and tendinitis. But on September 1st, he started to develop an intense cough and experienced chest pains, and he decided to go to the hospital. And it is there where his journey across Canada unfortunately stopped, as he held a press conference the next day announcing his cancer had returned and spread to his lungs. And after 130 days of running and over 5,000 kilometers, which is over 3,000 miles, Fox's journey had ended. He refused offers to complete the run by multiple other people, as he wanted to complete it himself after he recovered. At that point, he had raised $1.7 million, roughly $5 million today. And the CT television network held a telethon to help support Terry and the cancer research he was doing, which raised another $10 million. And the governments of British Columbia and Ontario donated $1 million each as well. But unfortunately, Fox did not recover from this cancer, despite receiving the best care he could. And even Pope John Paul II sending a telegram saying he was praying for him, and doctors using experimental treatment. On June 19th, 1981, he was admitted into the hospital, and he fell into a coma and passed away on June 28th, 1991. All the flags in Canada flew at half-mast, and his funeral was broadcast to the whole country. But Terry Fox's legacy didn't end there. Izzy Sharp, that CEO from the Four Seasons, put together a Terry Run, which was a marathon in Terry's honor to help raise money for cancer research. And it's become a staple every September. In 1981, the Terry Run, raising over $3.5 million. And it's continued to grow, as there's now over 1 million people that participate in over 60 countries. To this day, they've raised over $850 million in cancer research due to Terry not just sitting there down, but doing something to raise awareness. And sometimes that's all we need to get change done. Thank you for listening. If you like this, please rate and review wherever you're listening. It means a lot to me. It makes me happy to see how much you're enjoying the show. And come back tomorrow for more Daily Sports History.